Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. Well, I have an update and some more news about the Kevin Samuels and Ortencia Alcantara affair. It seems as though Mrs. Alcantara wants to get paid. Yes. According to DJ Academic, Mrs. Alcantara wants to speak, but only if you would provide her with some money. He states that she asked / requested $5,000 to spill the beans. But before I go on, I want you to hear out of his own mouth.
So I offer to speak to her off the record. Not on the podcast. I know it's the hottest podcast in the world, but not on the podcast. Say, whatever. I just want to really figure out what happened because, we're all looking like, damn, you look healthy. Like, what happened? Like, you know what I mean? Just trying to get, the vibe of everything. She first hits me and she says, I ain't talking to nobody. Like, I got a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. My lawyer said don't do no talking, no interviews. I said, well, this is not an interview. Like, we would talk privately. I don't know if she said she was thinking about it, whatever. Anyway, she hits me back and she says, if you want to talk to me, it's $5,000. What the fuck? This is what I be trying to tell y'all niggas, man. Like, none of these chicks care about these niggas, bro. Like, I'm thinking she distraught and hurt, and she just don't want to get blamed. Man, she said, give me 5 bands, I'll talk to you, nigga. 5 bands? Nigga, I don't give a fuck what happened. I'm going to keep it 1,000 with you. 5 bands? You stupid.
So there you go. You heard him say that she requested $5,000. Now, it's going to be his word against her word. So what we have to do is kind of muddy through the waters and go by the preponderance of the evidence. I can kind of believe him. And I think I have proof to back it up. But let me just tell you one thing. I find it very strange, disconcerting that she would try to monetize his death if she's innocent or if she really cared about him. If you are considered or a person of concern to be involved with someone's passing, potentially a murder, potentially someone dying of a drug overdose, the last thing that I would want to do is to try to monetize this. I would want to get out there and, yes, through an attorney. But I would want to get out there and speak my truth, tell my side of the story, put forth my evidence as to why I'm innocent. Trying to monetize something makes you seem to be a bit shady. And if his story is true about her wanting $5,000 to speak, if you would speak for $5,000, you surely would fuck for $5,000. So therefore, I think a lot of you guys were taken aback and fooled by her stating that, well, I'm a registered nurse. I make a 6-figure income, blah, 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 blah. That means nothing. A nurses do one-night stands. A nurse with a rich man, surely, if she's going to do a one-night stand, some of them will request to get paid for that. Or if money is being offered to you, the mentality is going to be, if I'm going to fuck this guy for free, why not get paid for it? Which leads me to another point here. And the point here in which I'm going to show you, Kevin Samuels himself has admitted to buying escorts He has admitted to visiting strip clubs. He says it's no big deal. In this particular video, you're going to hear him say he will mention about a woman he bought to a corporate event, and apparently his boss had her before, and he congratulated Kevin on bringing someone who's very discreet and who can keep secrets. But I want you to listen to this here.
Stall, and all he says is, walks by, wash his hands. That Kelly's an incredible girl. And he walks on out, and I'm like, He was the VP of marketing.
Right.
3 weeks later, I get a call. Mr. Johnson would like to see you in his office. And I'm sitting up there, Mr. Johnson. We're just talking about the weather and Cowboys and this and that. Nothing at all. Nothing. It was like banal water cooler talk. About 3 weeks or 4 weeks later, I started getting premium accounts handed my way, more opportunities. My manager started talking to me completely different. I started getting invited over to come over to the house for dinner. I didn't know I had an advocate. And it turns out about 3 to 6 months later, I got into the manager program. And what ended up happening is I went and I played golf with these guys in the scramble, and he's there. And I asked him, I was like, are you like my secret benefactor or something? He's like, he was a regular of the girl that I took there. He's like, anybody who had enough sense to bring her is somebody I need to keep my eye on. Because she is one of the most discreet people. He's been seeing her for years. And he's like, I know how much she costs, so that tells me you're not stupid. And she's not. He's like, I just needed to see who you were. And he's like, I've done my research on you and done my work on you. And he was like a real life benefactor. So what it taught me was there's a different level of power moves. And we have stigmatized that stuff to where you shouldn't do that. But hell, if it opens a door, it opens a door. Nowadays, escorts, porn, that kind of stuff, is nobody bats an eye at it anymore.
Yeah.
So now now women don't have the monopoly and lockdown on it like they used to. I give you something, you take out the trash. No, I'll just go to Eros. In call $300, out call $4. Okay,
Right.
And I'm out. Why do I gotta wine and dine and court you just for you possibly to give me some starfish sex? I just break you off this and I'm good.
Cash app. That's what they call it nowadays. Right.
And I'm realistic about it. And see, as an image consultant and a dating expert or whatever I'm called now, you're not supposed to talk about this. I'm like, this is real. This is real life. When I was in corporate sales, I did not play golf well. So I'm like, most guys did business on the golf course. I did my business in the strip clubs. Monday through Saturday, I was in the strip clubs.
Okay, so you heard Kevin out of his own mouth about bringing escorts to a corporate event, about paying escorts $300 to $400, about going to strip clubs. So apparently he met Mrs. Alcantara that particular night. So that kind of gives credence to that it was a paid engagement. I don't care about her profession. I don't care about how much money she allegedly made. By the way, nurses can make $100,000 a year. It's very common for RN, but it depends on what demographics you are in or where you are located or the hospital in which you work at. But extra money, yeah, most of us can use it. And by the way, if Kevin has used prostitutes, escorts, as he mentioned, 57-year-old man is going to use Viagra. No ands or buts about it. Viagra will be used. So therefore, now it seems like the pieces are coming together. She was a one-night stand. He seen a beautiful woman at a bar. He spoke to her. He has money and means to pay her for her services. And let me say this much. She probably was not a prostitute. She probably was not an escort. But I do believe that she played one that particular night. I do believe that that one night stand had everything to do with money being exchanged. I do believe that she was a hooker for a night. Yes, she got paid. So now it's understandable as to why she was there and why she didn't know the address. She couldn't tell them where she was at. And people said she was on live earlier with them. Of course. Of course. 24 hours. She spent the whole day. She spent the whole day and night with them. Yes. So therefore, those of us who speculated that it could have been a paid transaction, it seems like we do have some evidence towards that there are some basis towards that. Mrs. Alcantara is correct that she's not a prostitute. She's not an escort. But one night, yeah, for one night, I believe that transaction did take place. So with that little bit of unraveling, and I'm sure there's a lot more to come, that is another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty, and I will see you all beyond and through.